those guys?
Yeah, I know it's a lot going on in the media these past couple days, a lot of speculation, and nobody's really heard from me.
So, for those of you who watch the Buffalo Bills hand the reigning Super Bowl champions an ass whooping in their very own home, you probably heard social media going back to a 2018 GQ article when former Jaguars corner Jalen Ramsey released a verbal tirade on a number of QBs in the league, which included one Josh Allen. So those comments didn't really age too well. Jalen had called the Bills QB trash and a stupid draft pick. Now, that was well over 4 years ago, and since then, a lot has happened. But first things first, let's take a look at Josh Allen's stats from last night. The Bills QB lit up the Rams defense for 31 points, completing 26 of 31 passes for 297 yards, 3 scores, while running in one on the ground himself. He did also throw 2 picks, but one bounced off the hands of Isaiah McKenzie. Nonetheless, this was still a very impressive opening game for Josh Allen, who's also the odds-on favorite to win the MVP this season. And to add a little more salt to Jalen Ramsey's wounds is the fact that Pro Football Focus rated Allen a perfect 158.3 passer rating against the Rams corner. Jalen has had a difficult stretch of games if you go back to last season's regular and playoff games, as he's led up 4 deep touchdown passes in his last 6 games, something he hasn't done in the 56 games prior. Next, if we look at the history of Jalen Ramsey versus Josh Allen since making those comments, this doesn't look all too good for the corner. In 3 games, Allen is a perfect 3-0, throwing 768 yards, rushing for 163, and a total of 11 touchdowns. Now you tell me who came out on top in these head-to-heads. And that's not to diminish anything about Jalen Ramsey. He's still a premier corner and arguably the best in the league, but he probably should have thought twice before putting his foot in his mouth with his comments. For me personally, I think the Rams failed last night defensively, playing too much zone coverage, which also doesn't play to Ramsey's strength, who I think prefers more man-to-man. Now we have to talk about the other big matchup between Stefon Diggs and Jalen Ramsey. Diggs finished the game with 8 catches for a $122 and a touchdown. He was targeted 9 times with only 1 missed catch coming in the end zone when the ball bounced off Diggs' hands. Anyways, to say Stefon Diggs won this head-to-head is an understatement. He literally torched Jalen all night, as you could see the receiver was a handful for Ramsey. Take a look at this fantastic catch by the sidelines when Josh Allen placed the ball in a 2-foot window where only Diggs could catch it. And finally, the 53-yard touchdown pass where Ramsey looked completely lost. He was trailing 10 feet behind his receiver, and I'm gonna be honest, he probably thought he had some safety help behind him, because you hardly ever see a guy like Jalen get blown up like that. I think there was a lot of miscommunication on defense and some serious scheme issues. It just seemed like the defense weren't on the same page for most of the night. That being said, Jalen would go on to say after the game, "We got our ass beat straight up. They were really attacking our little zones, like our soft spots in our zones. Obviously, we've got to watch the film, but I'm sure we all would have liked to play man a little more. I feel like we kind of had a mentality like, bend, don't break a lot, because they were driving the ball but they weren't scoring, like we were getting turnovers, interceptions, whatever it was." Anyways, this was a tough pill to swallow for Jalen Ramsey and the LA Rams, but they will have a chance to bounce back next week at home against the Falcons.